Hello. Are you nearing the end of global history? Or perhaps you agree with the time management gurus who believe in beginning with the end in mind. This video does an overview of the final global history project. So it's good to watch before you pick a topic, or if you want to understand where the global history course is going. The topic for the final module in the final project is global justice. So global justice or social justice might be a term you're more familiar with. So you can choose a topic introduced earlier in the course, if you find one that interested you, or there are some examples in Module 5 that we'll look at briefly if you want to start ideas for a topic. Or if there's a topic that relates to social justice that interests you, we might be able to fit it into the course. If it's an issue that happened or is currently happening anywhere from 1750 to today that involves making the world a better place or righting the wrongs of a system, and we can probably fit that into the course. So negotiate this with me. Here's some sample details, and you can find more detail on each of these in Brightspace. They might get you thinking of a topic of your own. Some people choose to go into more depth on the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. So if you like that assignment in Module 3, that's one way you might go. Some people use this course as an opportunity to explore the recommendations of Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. One popular topic is to create an essay based on the film series for the novel Book of Negroes. The film series, it's 6-hour films. They were filmed on location partly in Louisbourg and Shelburne, and it tells the story of the journey of some African Americans who came to Canada as Black loyalists after the Revolutionary War. So you might want to look into that. You can, if you were interested in just war theory that we looked at briefly in Module 2, you can look at that in more depth by applying just war theory to a 20th or 21st century conflict. Some people want to learn about Hiroshima, and there's a case study that you can do on that event. You can look at Cape Breton and Columbia, how we are blood relatives through coal mining, and the ties that make us similar in our coal mining histories, and the ties that unite us in coal mining coal's consumption nowadays. Some people liked the film that we did in Module 2 on Love, Hate, and Propaganda. Love, Hate, and Propaganda is a series of episodes. So there is a series on World War II, one on World War I, one on the Cold War, and one on the War on Terror. So in this essay or project, you would look at a whole series on one of those series and write an essay based on what you've learned. Another topic which some people explore, we have a lot of people who have Irish ancestors. So there's a short video by the Crimes of Britain group that might get you thinking about the Irish genocide that happened in history. Of course, we've seen more genocides in the 20th and 21st centuries than the 19th century. And although it's a gruesome topic, all of those are topics that you can explore in a Module 5. Okay? So one of those topics or one of your own choice along those lines. And finally, stolen children. There's a video to get you thinking about the residential school experience if you don't know much about it. So that's been a popular topic the last couple of years. The time commitment for the final project is 15 to 20 hours, according to the Department of Education. Now that may seem like a lot, but think of it. You've got to brainstorm. So there's a lot of thinking involved, and the more thinking you do before you pick your topic, usually it's better. You don't want to get stuck in the brainstorm phase, though. So after a while, if you're undecided, contact me and we'll pick one. Then you've got to do your research, some basic research to start off. Then you've got to plan or outline your project. Create drafts, and notice that's plural. Create drafts of your project. Get my feedback on your drafts or outline. And this is creating the report itself. And in some cases, there's learning more or learning a new app or learning more about an app you already know to get the project done. So if you look at all that, you're probably going to exceed the 20 hours. Another reason that 15, 20 or more hours is not too much time to spend on this. This covers what we call cross-curricular outcomes. So the final project in global history might also be used in communications, in global geography, in technical communications, or sociology. So if you want to do a cross-curricular project, you might be expected to do more than a basic project. You need to talk to me and the teacher who delivers the other course, and we will work something out. The research phase is a key phase for a final project in an ALP course. And for history, it's different in different courses, but for history, here's the basics. You need to use at least 3 to 5 credible sources, competent, credible, authentic sources. And you need to check and test your sources, okay? You need to cite both an in-text citations and a reference list in APA format. We do workshops on that in history. We have resources in Brightspace, and your other courses will also talk about APA format. And you need both the in-text citation and reference page for full marks. You're also going to use your key academic integrity tools that you hear about in communications courses. You're going to use your paraphrasing skills, your summarizing skills. You're going to cite all ideas and information that are not common knowledge and clearly indicate direct quotations. Okay, so these are things that go into building a good project in any ALP course. So you're going to negotiate a format that fits you. Some courses have to, because of their guidelines, specify an essay or a certain format. History is very flexible. So try to negotiate a format that fits you. For instance, your format depends on your learning preferences and your learning goals. You might prefer certain report formats, or you might have goals to learn a new format. One format in global history is a novel report. So I call it the global novel report to distinguish it from a book report you might do in communications. Now the type of novel is key here. The setting or topic is key. You need a setting that involves the politics, history of another nation or culture. Or it could be set in the novel could be set in a conflict zone. It could even be a romance novel, but if it's set with good setting details in a conflict zone, it's a chance to learn a bit about that conflict. It could also be set during a significant historical event or movement like the Civil Rights Movement or abolition. So for the novel report format, if you're also using the novel for communications, usually you do the communications assignment as indicated by your comm instructor, and then I assign a W5H paper, depending on the novel, to capture the setting or the significant global event that the novel talks about. If you're not doing it for comm, I have a detailed graphic organizer that helps you organize the information for the book report. Either one is good. Another format for a report is presentation slides. And you might know these better as PowerPoint. Most of us are familiar with PowerPoint, but Apple users know Keynote. Some people know Google Slides. There's also something called Prezi, which is kind of like a PowerPoint on steroids. The key thing is don't use these apps like a Word doc. If you're just going to type up paragraphs, use Word. So use presentation slides in a different way. You're going to stick to visual. You're going to be visual, and you're going to use key terms and just in words express only main and supporting details. Now, I've got more extensive guidelines in Brightspace in Module 5 for the 25 to 30 slides you'd need for presentation slides. That may sound like a lot, but if you follow the guidelines, you're not going to have a lot of ideas on each slide. That's not what the format does. You could also do a series of infographics. So in this format, you do a lot of thinking and research, but you boil it down to smaller visuals. So one program that you can use for that is Sway. PowerPoint has an infographic template. Now, infographics, you often see these on Facebook or Twitter, right? And there are programs like Canva or Adobe Spark that allow you to have a student's account to create infographics for free. Here's an example of a simple short infographic I did for SAS. Okay, it's a way of talking about SMART goals. You can't see this very well if you're looking on a small screen, but it's a way of talking about SMART goals that you could open up and look at, kind of like a digital poster. You need more than one page of infographic for a history project, but this gives you the idea. It lets you be visual. You could put images in there, and it's important to pull out the key words. Just a different way of expressing ideas than a research paper. But you can still do a research paper if that's what you like to do, or if you want to work on your skills as a research paper. Now, research paper, remember we talked about cross-curricular assignments you can use in more than one course. A research paper can be cross-curricular with communications for global geography, sociology. Again, you talk to me and the teacher that delivers the other course to you. And a research paper has the similar sandwich structure as a 5-paragraph essay, but it's meatier. My 5-paragraph essay in Module 3 for the United Nations, you might have 600, 700 words. This one would have 1,000 to 1,500 words, so it becomes a bigger challenge. So you may know this format as a term paper or essay. Then there's the biggest thesis paper. Now that's cross-curricular with academic communications. It's a significant time commitment. It's like a term paper, but it argues a viewpoint or thesis in 1,500 or 2,000 words. And you'd probably need much more than 20 hours to pull one of these together for both history and history and communications. That's why we love getting thesis papers, but they are a significant time commitment. And there are other formats you can create if you want to call on your creative side. Over the last 18 years teaching this course, a couple of people, too, have written songs. One was a rap song, one was a protest folk song. They're both protest songs about a global issue. There is the possibility of making video. Probably in other courses, that's a bigger possibility than history, but I'm open to it. I've had people create newsletters. They've imagined that they were in in a war or in a social justice movement, and they wrote a newsletter for it. Similarly, I've had people do a series of interviews with peacekeepers about different peacekeeping missions. So there's lots of formats if you want to be creative. How is the project graded? Make sure, like all projects, to check the rubrics in Brightspace, and there are marks for the outline. So in history, you can find that rubric in Module 5 and look at it in detail. It might give you ideas of how to put your project together. There's also a rubric for project slides. Okay, I'm just going through these quickly. They are in Module 5. All formats, this is important, all formats require a plan or outline in advance. There are marks for this, okay? Easy marks, don't skip them. And then you see, I'm just going to flip through these quickly. In Module 5 and in the handout section, depending on the project you're doing, there's all kinds of graphic organizers to help you. So do the outline, do the planning, plan to succeed, ask questions. Remember, I'm at connie.mcpherson@nscc.ca. We can email or Teams chat about your final project or any project. We can arrange a one-on-one session if we need to. Okay, so remember, whether you're getting ready to do your final project or just thinking ahead to how you might end the course, keep your eye open for topics. And that's your final global history topic to round out the course.